Well, here we are right before Christmas with a special guest who's actually an old friend, Eileen Bradshaw with the Community Food Bank of Eastern Oklahoma. Good to see you, youngin'.
Good to see you, Sam.
You're all readied out.
I'm ready to go.
You like our big Christmas tree?
I mean,
Can you all
standard
get a shot
to
at
beat.
this Christmas tree? This is unique because we went all out. We spent a great deal of money on a Charlie Brown tree. We're very proud of that. Actually belongs to one of the troops upstairs who's standing guard over here with a club. If I break that one glass ball, it's not a
payroll
matter.
deduct.
Yeah, I'm in trouble. Hey, how are things over at the food bank?
You know, they're good. It's a busy time of year. We're lucky that we have lots of folks doing food drives. And last night at the food bank, we had 3 groups coming in to volunteer and have dinners there. So it's a good time in terms of people reaching out and wanting to help.
As we get closer to Christmas, I hate to say it, but you know what's coming. You know there are going to be demands made
Yes.
on the organization. You're going to need help. What do you need?
We need money and we need food. This year to date, our distribution is up almost 18% over the same point last year.
Now that's just distribution.
That's just distribution. And that's really exciting on one hand, but on the other hand, that stresses things like trucks and staff. And so we've got food to get out there. Demand is up. So, you know, we need volunteer help. We need cash donations and food donations just to keep it all going.
Okay, let's break this down a little bit. Let's talk about the food donations. What specifically do you need?
Protein is the item that our partner programs request most often.
Protein?
So peanut butter, canned tuna, canned chicken, beans, canned entrees like stew, ravioli, those kinds of things.
Okay. Give us a picture, if you will, Eileen, because I have to get you to do this when we're together, so the folks at home have an understanding. How many families or individuals are we talking about that depend on the food bank?
You know, we go state line to state line, 24 counties, and we're providing upwards of 396,000 meals each week. I just saw a statistic a few days ago that it's a meal every 1.5 seconds, which is, it's a lot of food.
It
but
is.
there's a lot of need. And most of the folks that we're feeding are children, elderly, or they're the working poor. Sometimes there's a stereotype that people are choosing to get food help even though they might not need it. But truthfully, most of the folks that we serve have a working adult in the household. They just don't make enough money to feed their family.
I have a feeling, and I can't prove this, so you could probably sue me, but I have a feeling that sometimes you go home at night and your eyes are red because you see the hurt. Your boots on the ground. Am I right?
Well, I never go home and put my head down thinking my job is done. And that's true. And yes, sometimes I do go home actively upset, and there is never a sense of completion because we know that as hard as we work and as much food as people share with us, we are not meeting the entire need. There's still somebody, and lots of somebodies out there in the area we're responsible for going to bed without the nutrition that they need.
I have to tell you, I thought about you the other night. I go out at night, sometimes late, with a camera. And I take pictures. I find things that other folks say, but I look for buildings that have a few light, especially downtown. You know, we have some of the most incredible Art Deco structures in the world in Tulsa. And I'll go down there and I'll look for a light from this building showing this building, or an alleyway where there's a light at the other end, you know, and I look for those special kinds of things. And it seems to me, as of late, I'm seeing more and more folk sleeping in the downtown area, or leaning against a wall, or squatting by a trash bin, smoking a cigarette. And your heart goes out. There's not a way that you can think of except through the food bank. And I'm sure there are other organizations fighting the same battle, but my God, this is an immediate need. Food you can't do without.
You can't do without, and you can't make changes. So
Are the numbers growing for you guys?
they are. The numbers are growing, and I get that question sometimes. Unemployment is low in Oklahoma, so why do we have this need? But again, most of the folks we serve are children who can't fend for themselves, the elderly whose earning days are behind them and they don't have the resources, or the working poor. So the reason that we have the persistent hunger in Oklahoma isn't because people are lazy, and it isn't a lack of employment opportunities, but we don't have a lot of high wage opportunities. You can work 2 or 3 jobs and it was still at minimum wage, and still not be able to feed your family, pay for rent and transportation. I mean, it's math.
And I know the schools are virtually fighting a losing battle with free breakfasts and lunch programs. That gets them through part of the day.
It does.
It doesn't get them through the year.
That is true, but the federal nutrition programs are so important. So if your listeners are out there and listening to all the political stuff, please support the federal nutrition programs, because breakfast in the classroom, free and reduced lunch at school, very critical programs. But you're correct, it's not everything a child needs. And so we do extra things. When we're getting ready for the winter break, we'll have our food trucks going out serving hot meals, like a taco truck, at low-income apartment complexes with lots of children. We're getting ready to partner with the YMCA starting in January for after-care meals at 3 public school sites. So we're trying to fill in the gaps for those students.
We just saw some video that featured some of your trucks. How many
Yes.
do you have altogether?
We have altogether, right now we have 13 trucks, but we have 1 in the pipeline. Those are actually grow-tainers. They're boxcar farms where we can grow lettuce hydroponically.
No kidding.
No, they're really cool.
And that works. I've read quite a bit about that.
Yeah, it works really well, and we're not master gardeners.
Yeah.
So if it works at the food bank, you can probably try it at home.
No kidding.
But we can grow the first crop in 30 days. We can trim it, get a second cutting in 10 days. So it's a wonderful way for us to get fresh produce that's truly got a lot of shelf life on it out to people that need it.
Golly. Well, the reason I bring that up about the trucks, is that another expense then you have to deal with, the gasoline, the maintenance and all?
It is, and when you see an uptick in distribution, like I said, we're really excited about it, but we have to be able to afford it to sustain it. And those are the kind of expenses that we're talking about: trucks, refrigeration, and driver salaries.
Eileen, we got about 3 minutes. I'd be curious to hear from you what, and I realize we're not really in a downtime, but I mean, Christmas is upon us. Thanksgiving's past. What do you think? What do you speculate is going to be the big demanding item beyond protein as we get closer to Christmas?
People want to do special Christmas dinners, which is awesome, and there's a lot of those available. We provide some of the food for those, but most of the folks we serve really just want to have food beyond the special Christmas meal. They, the folks we talk to, if you're going to spend $25 on a special Christmas meal, they'd rather you spend $5 on 5 separate meals so that they can enjoy food security a little bit longer. Because to them, that's truly a gift of the season, a lack of worry and a meal on the table.
And you need volunteers all the time.
All the time. And if you are a florist or an accountant, or you just want to put labels on cans, we can put your skill set to work.
I just remembered that something I wanted to talk to you about. The last time you were here, you had this big event coming up.
Giving Spirits.
As a fundraiser. How did that go?
It was a lot of fun. We had more people than ever before.
Good.
It was at the Canes, and for the first time, Oklahoma's actually spawning some local distillers. So that was fun. It was the first time that we'd had anything distilled in Oklahoma. So all in all, it was a great event. We raised a lot of meals for the food bank, and it was a good time.
So you had a good turnout.
We had a great time. You've got to come next year.
Well, count on it. It's just my kind of party. We're down to about 2 minutes. I got to be careful because I don't want to overstay my welcome. I'll end up buying another tree. We would like to extend to you and to the food bank an invitation to call on us when you need it. Consider airtime available. We'll make it for you.
You guys are so good to us. We appreciate it.
But I have to tell you, some of the volunteers that you need, if you could help the folks understand at home what kind of volunteer work you
We really have all kinds. We're like a small city. So if you want to come in with a group, and we might actually ask you to like sort potatoes or oranges, you might be putting labels on unlabeled cans. So there's a lot of group activities for groups as small as 2 or 3. We can accommodate up to 60. You need to call us and let us know you're coming if you're bringing 60 people.
Exactly. Shouldn't they call anyway?
They should, and you can sign up online. It's okfoodbank.org. But if you have a specific skill set that you'd like to give to the food bank, you don't have to come with a group.
Such as?
Cooking. You can work in our culinary program. You can go out on our food trucks and serve meals to kids who are on school break. If you are a florist, we might have an event and you can come in and help us arrange the flowers for it. So we have people, attorneys, who say, you know, we'll be willing to look over contracts for you. We'll be willing to do data entry. I mean, we pretty much any skill set, whether it's something that you do in your everyday life or something you've always wanted to do, you can call us and we can see what application there is.
Well, I guess I could come over and talk to you.
You could work in the grow-tainers and grow that lettuce.
I could do that.
You could come harvest.
I could do that.
Takes a pair of scissors and a jacket.
And a straw hat, and I got one. Hey, Eileen, thank
Perfect.
you.
Thank you so
have
much,
a good
Sam.
Christmas, and I hope you
too.
have a tree just as nice as ours.
Mine might be a little sparse. I'm going to have to get a red ball. It's pretty cute.
That's all the time we have for this edition of Perspectives. Thank you for joining us. Have a Merry Christmas. We'll see you next time.